What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Luis King Kong Ortiz. Get this. Ortiz continues to stay in shape. He feels avoided by top-rated names. Cuban heavyweight puncher Luis Ortiz has been out of the ring for over a year now, okay? The 44-year-old has been inactive since losing a close 12-round unanimous decision against former unified champion Alexander Usyk back in September of 22. The Dangerous Punchers trainer, Calzado, is growing with frustration as time passes and options are running out for his fighter. He said he is training every day. We have different routines. Since there is nothing on the horizon, he is working on his physical condition. Not as much boxing, but he does come to the gym 3 times a week. Nobody talks about him, Calzado told George Ebro. He said, I see fighters who say, I'm tired of waiting for this one. I can't find an opponent. Like Tyson Fury, who was going to face Francis Ngannou. He didn't call Luis. The same with Anthony Joshua. He has no opponent. He hasn't called Luis either. They don't call him. They want to erase him from the map. They want him to disappear so that he is no longer a bother. Since he debuted on the scene, they have avoided him. Those who call are the guys who are top 10 and 0 with 10 knockouts offering $100,000 to fight. Guys who need it a lot more than us so they can call that fight, or they could say that they fought Luis Ortiz. They win or lose, but that's not worth it at this stage where he's at right now. Fury and Joshua say that they only want to fight for money. Okay, Luis is the same, but the difference is Luis likes boxing. The punch is the last thing to go. His abilities from age 30 when I met him up until now have been adjusting, knowing that he can no longer do some of the things that he used to do. He does do them, but not constantly. Luis is 44 years old, but he looks like he's 33. He still pushes, beats people on the track. When you see that, it makes you angry because today's heavyweights are cowards. Those are the words of Herman Calzado. And let me counterpunch. Luis Ortiz can't find a fight. Okay, well, nobody's talking about Luis Ortiz. Because at this point, Luis Ortiz, it's a lose-lose situation. A lose-lose. Because if you beat Luis Ortiz, you get really no credit, just like really Andy didn't. Okay, that's not a great win for Andy because that was the waiting game. Luis Ortiz is old, and he's even older than he claims to be, and in what he's on paper is considered old. He's 44 years old. He's damn near 5 years from 50. He's old. Okay? And on top of that, if he beats him, then you get beat by an old guy that's actually older than he claims to be. So who really wants that? Do you think Joshua wants that? Do you think Tyson wants that? Listen, those guys are not going to fight Luis Ortiz. Anthony Joshua, I know for shit sure ain't going to fight Ortiz because Ortiz is a southpaw. And on top of that, fighting Ortiz would probably be the most dangerous thing that he could ever do. Why? Because, for one, you're beating up on an old man. For two, if you get chinned by that old man, you're going to be the laughing stock. And you know who's going to be laughing their ass off? The man or the first man to beat Luis Ortiz, Deontay Wilder. Okay? He's going to laugh from here to high heaven, in which he should really be crying. And I hope that he's laughing to keep from crying because, once again, he's fucked himself out of a payday. Baby, right? And these guys saying that, well, hey, nobody talks about him. He can't get a fight. And they didn't call Luis Ortiz. Nobody's going to call Luis Ortiz. Okay? He was a gatekeeper forever for Deontay Wilder. He got old enough to be still dangerous enough to make a name for Deontay Wilder, to make him relevant in the heavyweight division. Okay, I want people to understand that. Luis Ortiz was a very important pawn in the PBC game. His job was to rev up another fighter in Deontay Wilder, and it worked. That's why Ortiz, he did a good job, but he was just too old at the time. Matchmaking by promoters, advisors are very gifted, and they're needed for a reason. Okay? They specifically, strategically put Luis Ortiz right there in 2018, right before he turned 40. Okay? Before he turned 40 years old, they had him in there. He was 39 when he fought. The same month he turned 40. So you might as well say 40. When he fought Deontay Wilder the first time. And it was a scare, but Deontay Wilder came out victorious. And one thing I knew and I learned about Deontay Wilder in that fight, he had heart. He just wasn't going to go with one shot. You know what I mean? And we've learned further that he had a lot more heart than that, because he's been dropped more than a few times by Tyson Fury and still got up. Okay, so that shows you a lot about his heart. Nonetheless, guys are not running to fight him. Andy Ruiz, again, ran 2 years from him before fighting him. And that's after that Charles Martin upset. Because Charles Martin was on his way to beating Luis Ortiz. Let's just face it. Luis Ortiz was going down from a jab. You think Andy don't want to tussle with his ass now? Of course he did. When he saw that, estoy listo para este cubano, he was ready. Estoy listo para mis Snickers. He was ready. You know what I'm saying? So, if anything, seriously, these guys are not going to call him. And these younger guys, yeah, those who do call are the guys who at 10-0 with 10 knockouts offering $100,000 a fight. Guys who need it a lot more than us. Okay? Quote, guys are calling. It's just not the guys they want to call. And I get it, people. And let me break it down to you for Luis Ortiz. And this is very sad. And I hope that Al Haymon is helping Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz's daughter has a condition. I'm not sure right now what the condition is, but he needs money for medical bills, people. He's not fighting because he wants to show people he's the best. He's fighting and wanting a fight or a big caliber fight because he needs to pay for these damn bills that I'm pretty sure they're accumulating because of the treatments that his kid needs. He's doing that for his family. He's not doing that for bragging rights. He's doing that for survival and the best thing that he can do for his family. And that's how he provides, because that's all he knew is boxing. Old as he is. And it's sad for that, because I feel bad for someone like Luis Ortiz, because see, he's old and they're looking for these high caliber fights because they can't afford to get paid $100,000, because $100,000 really ain't $100,000. It's more like $60,000. Then you got to share with Herman Calzado and company and the advisors and the promoters and the managers. So Luis Ortiz would probably come home with about 30 grand. 30 grand ain't enough to take care of them damn bills that accumulated because of his daughter. Okay? That's what's going on with Luis Ortiz. So there's an urgency because they're seeing a guy. Herman Calzado is looking at that fighter that he's seen since 30 years old, and he's seen him diminish day after day. That's what he's really trying to say. He's just trying to keep it positive. Oh, the power is the last to go. Of course it is, because that's pretty much all he has left. Pretty much so. So if anything, I feel bad for Luis Ortiz, and I haven't heard from him in a while. That's why I'm excited to report him, to do a counterpunch on Luis Ortiz. But those guys that want to fight him or only want his name on a resume, because there's only two guys after those 3 losses that beat Luis Ortiz, and that's Deontay Wilder and Andy Ruiz. Okay, and they want to join that circle. They want to join that club. But they don't have time, and they really can't afford to fight these younger guys. So if anybody could give Luis Ortiz a fight, an opportunity, it should be his manager or his advisor, the manager of managers, Al Haymon. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Luis Ortiz. Frustrated that people are avoiding him. Top people are avoiding him. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!